Welcome to a special edition of Global Sports Report here on Arise News. We'll be having special guests join us from across the world today. But let's touch base with how things are playing out in football today with the Premier League. Of course, matches are plenty today in the Premier League as teams will be jostling for positions from 2 p.m. GMT +1. We're going to be having Crystal Palace against Manchester City at the Selhurst Park today. And Nottingham Forest will be hosting Spurs later on today. Sunderland will be hoping to get their groove on when they play Newcastle at the Stadium of Light, a fixture that hasn't happened in a very long time. And West Ham United in London will be hosting Aston Villa, while in London, Brentford will be taking on Leeds United. Looking at the Premier League table as it actually stands right about now, you get to see that Arsenal still dominating thanks to that particular win yesterday. And thanks to that particular win yesterday, Arsenal, the Gunners, are still top of the totem pole as we speak, having played 16 games and a goal difference of plus 20, 36 points. And the Chelsea Impact Manchester City are second. And with the win today, they can actually rise as much as, or they can close the gap to just 1 point today. So let's see how things play out for the citizens. While Aston Villa, they themselves have been on the ascendancy, and they have an opportunity to also close the gap to the Gunners, who right now are looking tired. I've said time and time again that they're looking indefatigable, but not anymore. That win against Wolverhampton Wanderers yesterday was heavily laboured at the Emirates Stadium as the Wolves just gave the Gunners a lot to buy. Chelsea are looking good for the money, but at the moment, inconsistent form has seen them pegged in fourth. Now away from that to basketball. And this particular picture speaks 1,000 words. Ezinne Kalu, fearless, relentless, donning Nigeria's colors on the global stage. She embodies the best of Nigerian basketball: continental dominance, Olympic milestones, and worldwide respect. Yet her story also exposes a harsh reality, a system that nurtures excellence despite itself, not because of it. Now, on the international stage, Nigeria's national teams are soaring. The D-Tigers are African royalty, winning titles, shattering Olympic records, and holding their own against the world's elite. The men's team has also shown glimpses of global promise. Back home, however, the picture is starkly different. The domestic league struggles to stay afloat. Structures are fragile. Players face inconsistent welfare, limited exposure, and scant support. Now, court seats empty where they should roar with life, while administration lags behind the talent it meant to serve. Now, the result is the big question, a striking contradiction. World-class players striving abroad, yet local foundations crumbling. Global respect, local neglect is what we see here. Ezinne Kalu's journey captures it all. The triumph of Nigeria's talent, the failure of Nigeria's system. Now the question is urgent and simple. Can Nigeria finally build a basketball infrastructure worthy of the champions it keeps producing? Or will international success continue to mask domestic failure? And today I have 3 individuals who represent the future of basketball here in Nigeria. They will be expounding on this and giving us their position as we get into a crucial month or a crucial year, as the case may be, for Nigerian basketball. It's about to change. The door, or the revolving door, is swinging once again. And where will it land? Only time will tell. And here in the studio with me, I've got Udezue. He is the co-founder of Alpha Sports and also a very prominent NBA agent and promoter over the years. And the last time he was in the studio, I must say that he was here to talk about the D-Tigers, and he did quite a lot of background work to ensure they garnered the necessary support, both financially and in otherwise, to get the team to the AfroBasket and get them across the finish line. I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm happy to have dragged you in for this auspicious occasion. All right, in our Abuja studio, he needs no introduction. He's invested in basketball for years, and he goes by the name Igoche Mark, all right, the proprietor of Mark Mentors, and he has been the initiator of Mark the Ball over the years, a man that has invested heavily in basketball and is still a passionate basketball enthusiast. Igoche Mark, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. And we'll also be joined by a former NBA superstar who goes by the name Olumide Oyedeji, an Olympian and an all-round basketball aficionado. Okay, so we've got Olumide there who will be also talking to us about this. And to get things started, I'll start it off with you, Igoche. I beg your pardon, with you, Ugo, here in the studio. Let's pick it up from that particular point. The D-Tigers, their win. You were there.
Right.
You were there.
Right.
So answer the question. What has happened to the D-Tigers? Some will say it's fluke. Some will say maybe Rena Wakama is working her magic. And some will say the team are just as good as they are. Take it or leave it. Which is it?
I think it's a combination of a lot of hard work, a lot of behind-the-scenes work to get these ladies ready to go, and making sure the selection process is fair globally for everybody, and also selecting the right coach for the team. That was a tedious work. If you remember when Rina was selected, a lot of people were against, she's too young, she's not ready, she's not Nigerian, but today she's the most celebrated female basketball coach in Africa.
Yes.
And we are proud that what she's accomplished. We are proud what the team has accomplished. The team works extremely hard. They've set a tone for the rest of Africa for the next decade. And I think it's a result of the hard work that's been going on around the team.
All right. So I would like to find out from you, before I go to Igoche on this particular topic, the contradiction, like I read in my opening salvo, is the fact that all that is happening with the D-Tigers, they've been dominant for a decade now, has no bearing from the local front, has no, the umbilical cord that should connect the local players and the foreign players is not there. This is completely, this song will say it's a contraption that has been brought together by the U.S. system. We benefited from the U.S. system, and we're not necessarily grooming players that can actually get to that level. Because the question is, how many of the starting five are from the local stage?
Well, that's a very good question. I think it's a question everybody wants to ask, and everybody that's very valid. You know, and this is not just regards to Nigeria. This is regards to Africa and the rest of the world. We have to raise our standards. There's no, you know, in the FIBA ranking, even with everything that's been done, Africa is below standards with a lot of international premise on how international level of basketball. But we're getting there. You know, I think the most important thing for us at this point, and I speak for myself, and I don't speak for the MBBF with this topic, because I'm a firm believer that when you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's still going to happen, whether it's this MBBF board or the next board. I'm a firm believer that there has to be private equity in sports. And I'm not talking about when you grandstand and self-promote yourself with your name or with your team or with your league. I'm talking about if you go around the world, there's no league in the world, whether it's the NBA, even in the US, you start from AAU, high school, college, it's all privatized. In Europe, everything is privatized. The MBBF is a governing body and regulatory body for the Nigerian basketball. We stakeholders have to come up with a plan, like we did with the CBL, the ABL. Come up with a league that is private and sustainable. Because you have to have people that are equipped, that are equity-driven by teams and by the owners and by the league for something like this to sustain. You know, the government cannot run leagues for us. The world has developed far past that. And I think it's on the stakeholders, the individuals. This is a business opportunity. I think basketball is business right now. I think some of the guys on this call would testify to that. And about time we stakeholders that claim that we love the game Start investing in the league, in private leagues, in our own leagues. Whatever you call it.
Permit me to stop you there because you are an investor in the league itself, an investor in the ecosystem of basketball.
Correct.
So saying this, I'm a little bit shocked. But maybe so that not to keep the conversation just about you, let's talk to Igoche because Igoche also has invested heavily in the basketball structure over the years with Mark Mentors, Mark the Ball. Yeah?
He's invested in his team.
In his team, no, of course, it's still part of the private, the private injection of funds we need. They've done a good job. Igoche, talk to me about this, looking at how things have actually played out, because he said the MBBF private equity should still be brought in to be able to shape basketball in Nigeria. But you're a man that over the years, you've invested your own personal fund to try to grow the game of basketball with your team and with your events. How has it fared over the years?
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, I must start by saying that Nigeria basketball internationally, led by our female team, the Tigress, we've been doing very well internationally, no doubt. The coach, Reno, she has done excellently well, and I think the choice of bringing her on board was the right choice. No doubt about that one. And the Tigers, they've been, so far, they've been able to put Nigeria, to put us where we belong on the global map of basketball. So that's a good one. That's one of the things that we have benefited over the years about basketball. And on that level, on that side, we are making tremendous progress. But then when it comes to the grassroots development, just like as he was saying, I mean, everything needs to go side by side. We can't be so good on the international scene and then we don't have anything back at home here, because we need to be able to grow this young talent from the grassroots to the elite level. And how can we do that? We must have some development plans. We must have put together a good structure and also think about sustainability. I think that's the way forward. Yes, I know, yes, the government, they don't run leagues all over the world, everywhere. Yes, the NBA is a private entity and everything. But then the government or the MBBF, they also have a role to play by putting down some structures, where all these things can run. But investors or sponsors, they only come when they trust the system. And when you have a structure, when you put something down, then investors will come, and then sponsors will come, and then even private individuals will come. We have been contributing so much to basketball. We wish that we can all come together, put our efforts together, and I believe we can take Nigerian basketball to the next level. We can't be this good on the international scene and then have nothing back at home. It goes side by side. It goes together. We have to find the balance in everything. And I believe that we can do that. We can achieve that.
All right. Let me cross over to the US because we have Olumide Oyedeji joining us. Thank you very much. I know you had to probably delay your flight to actually make this happen. I know you're in transit. But Olumide, talk to me. The board of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, some would say they have done very well with reference to the D Tigers and all they've achieved in the last decade. But at the same time, you look at it again and you say, that there is nothing. You say you cannot put something on nothing. They say in law, and you expect that to stand. When you look at basketball in Nigeria, we are shining globally and continentally, but locally, we are being found wanting. Where have we missed it? Talk to us. You're in the board of the MBBF because you even have a team privately. Where have we missed it as a nation?
Ooh. That's $1 million question. $1 million question. $1 million question one more time. Well, I mean, we have to be real and be honest. It must kind of just be like, I don't know how I'm going to say it. Anybody that will say that we're doing well locally, like Igoche said earlier on, I think they need to go for a checkup. We're not doing well locally. for sure. But internationally, we're doing well. I mean, with the girls, with the ladies, with the Tigers. And if you even look at the boys, we went back from being number 15 in 2016 to right now to like number 52 or number 47. You can see how we just came down within a couple of years. So, and when we look at it as a board, I think if you want to run fast, you run alone. If you want to run far, you run with a group. And everybody, how we have the ability, Hugo is there, I'm there, Bob is there. We have a people who are knowledgeable enough to run this game, who play this game, and we have a people around there. But are we doing it? We need to be honest and with ourselves. We have to do a better job, and we probably have to run all inclusive, and we have to be really honest with ourselves, and we have to check it. Like myself right here now, I have my daughter play basketball. She's a top two. In Florida. Also player of the year, top 15 in the nation in our class. But if she's in Nigeria, will she ever get a chance? How many of us that are running basketball in Nigeria? How many of our own kids, our own children, will play this game of basketball in Nigeria? How are we going to know what the players feel? We don't know what the players. We're not going to know what the players feel. But we have to look at it that we already wasted one generation of talent. I myself inclusive, because I'm a member of the Federation, I hold myself accountable, I hold myself responsible. We can do a better job. We can turn it around. All what we need to do, we just have to just look what were we doing before. Where was those league that produced Udezue, that produced Olumide, that produced Peter Luma, God bless his soul, Mohamed Acha, Tuji Awojobi. Those guys there were those leagues back then. What were we doing back then that were successful? I mean, I'm kind of look at it. Yes, I played with the national team for 21 years. We look at it. There was a particular time that we have about between 8 to 10 homegrown players in the team. Yes, the game was involved, but we have to do a better job. To me, I don't know what other people say. I believe we could do a better job. Yes, there's no sponsor, there's no money, but there's a lot of ways that we can do things. You don't have to be about money. Yes, I agree about the ecosystem. They have to just be money. They have to be funding. We have to go private. But when the league was going well in Nigeria, were we private? Of course, I know that things changed. Okay, but you have to be sustainability. Yes, I agree with that. But you have to look at what you have, and you have to make something out of it. For the players, we have the league.
Olumide, permit me to interject at this point. I want to get a brief answer from you before I actually come back to Ugo on the same question. Is that not an indictment on Nigerian basketball that groomed you, put you on the pedestal, and took you global? Because if you said by yourself that your daughter cannot, at this moment, probably is plying a trade in the US, and that if she is in Nigeria, she will not get the opportunity, what have you done to ensure that you give people, another, maybe an unknown Olumide Oyedeji, a chance at greatness? Because I know that there were men that gave you the opportunity. What are you doing to ensure that you give those same people the opportunity to flourish, unlike probably taking your daughter to the US and having her flourish there?
Yeah, first of all, my daughter was born in the US. Yeah. She has the opportunity, privilege to be born in the U.S. But you say, what am I doing? I'm doing what I can do by myself individually, just like a Mark, just like Hodges does his own. We have a different individual, Lagos, Legend, and all those guys. What can I do? I can only control what I can control. I can't control myself. What I do? I have a hoops and reach basketball team. I have a junior team. I probably have a senior team. I have a Takeover Dolphins now promoting by myself. So whatever I can do by myself as an individual, I'm doing, creating my own quota. But collectively as a board, I believe we can do a better job. And we can go beyond personal issue, personal egos. We can go beyond self-centered. We can go beyond. So if all of us is really well, if all of us is really honest and sincere, I see no reason why we couldn't work together. I keep saying that every time. We all play basketball. Everybody can testify. Did you love all your teammates where you were playing? No. Did you go and win? Yes. Did you go to practice together? Yes. So we have to put the individualism, the selfish, whatever this thing, aside, if we truly love the game and challenging everybody, there's no reason for us not to come together or work together. I don't need to like IG. I don't need to like Ugo. As long as we come to basketball court, we go play, we go win. Then we take out there, we leave, we go home. And next thing, I don't need to call IG. I don't need to call Ugo. But we come back again, then we win. So we all go together. United we stand, divided we fall, because there are always strength in numbers. So collectively, if we put all our brains, all our experiences together, Nigerian basketball will be great, no doubt.
All right, thank you very much, Olumide. We'll still get back to you in a moment, but let me come back to you, Ugo, in the studio here. Now, Olumide has just pointed out to a very crucial problem, that the fragmentation of basketball with camps here and there. Coincidentally, I didn't even see this coming until probably this morning, that I just kind of understood that in the studio, or connected to the studio and in the studio today, are three gentlemen that are hoping at some point, whether it be in January, we'll talk about that later on, or in October, that they might become the next MBBF president. Now, Olumide has just pointed out to division and fragmentation as the cause, as the root cause of Nigeria's problem when it comes to basketball. You look at it closely. For you, you've been in the game. You've seen things happen. You've taken a fly, left your trade in the US to come back to Nigeria to start a business, involve yourself in the murky waters of Nigerian basketball. Looking at it closely, what's the biggest problem ailing Nigerian basketball today?
So I'm going to keep it very plain. You do not have to be president of the Nigerian Basketball Federation to help basketball in Nigeria. You do not have to have the platform of being on the board member to help basketball in Nigeria. You know, when I did the CBL, ABL, I was not a member of the Nigerian Basketball Federation.
But how far did I go?
No, let me finish.
How far did I go without the blessings of the federation?
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming to that. And I did not name it Udezue's Basketball League. I named it a platform because you grow a tree and sometimes hope not to stay under the shadows. All right? It was not about personal grandiosity and personal promotion. What I'm saying is this, right? Yes, Olumide was on the board that scuttled the CBL. I'm not accusing him personally, but he was on that same board. And we are paying players at that time $2,500 a month. And they found a way to end it. And I'm saying, yes, you need the board. You need, like Igoche said, an enabling environment for this to happen. Right. And since we've been on this board, nobody has stopped anybody from starting a basketball league. Nobody has stopped anybody like they did to me or destroyed a hard-paying work, right? If they sustained that league to today, only God knows what it would have been. Let me finish.
Okay.
And it's not just the basketball league. There's an ecosystem around basketball, whether it's Alpha Sports or whatever anybody can do. Basketball, sports, there's a whole ecosystem around sports. And all of us need to contribute in it. I don't take it when people say, yeah, you need enabling, but there's nothing in Nigeria that's easy. You have to fight for it. And I learned the hard way. And people need to come out in a way, and look at Weber basketball. Okay. He's building uprights all over the place, helping without having a league. This is what I'm talking about. People have to contribute to the ecosystem without being the president of Nigerian Basketball Federation.
Okay, also one of my producers is saying Giants of Africa.
Exactly.
They've done great.
Exactly. And they didn't name it Masai Ujiri Basketball Academy or a camp. All I'm saying is instead of personal grandiosity, let's find a way to raise, but you don't have to be president. I'm not doing what I'm doing to be president of the Nigerian Basketball Federation. The president of Nigerian Basketball Federation is actually even more limited than all of us that are private entrepreneurs.
But Ugo, you can attest to it that without the endorsement, because without the FIBA, whether it's being FIBA Africa or FIBA itself, if they want to work with anybody, it has to be through the federation.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
And when we know that, and that's the premise, and probably some will say that maybe your closeness with Musa Keda has also helped. We're going to talk about the business of...
His closeness to me helped with what?
It probably, maybe in the adoption of Alpha Sports, that probably if you are an outsider, trying to push in, that it would have been a little bit more difficult.
If you give me time, I would like to talk about Alpha Sports so that you may have the right understanding.
Okay, maybe in 60 seconds before we take a break.
Right,
Okay,
you.
let's do this. Okay.
Right.
Talk to me about Alpha Sports.
So Alpha Sports came about because after I started the CBL, at that point I was looking for sponsors, shoe sponsors for my brand. Nobody came through. I personally went to China, started this brand, and we ended up coming back to Nigeria and opening a factory, hiring over 200 Nigerians because we wanted to inspire the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Alpha Sports basketball is actually less than 10% of our business.
True.
Everything we've done, we've never taken a penny, 1 penny from MBBF, apart from the rumors that people put out there. Yes, Musa Kida was part of it because he saw me in the beginning and said, I like this project, I want to be part of it. And he's become my partner since.
Do you think his involvement in helping probably bankroll, permit me to use that word, Alpha Sports has caused a lot of confusion over the years because people have said maybe Musa Kida owns Alpha Sports.
I'm sure it has caused confusion, but let me ask you this.
Yes.
In the past 10 years, tell me one major sports brand that's in African basketball. None. Do you know why?
Not that I know.
Do you know why? Because our games have not been on TV. So basketball brands do not see it as an opportunity. When the D-Tigers played in Abidjan, how many people watched it? So as a sports brand, it's actually a negative. We are losing money because nobody's watching these games. That's why the FIBA Africa partnership with ESPN Africa is going to open a plethora of opportunities for basketball going forward. That's why we're looking at Adidas for the women. That's why we're looking at Nike. Olumide is on this call. He's a member of my committee for sponsorship. He was supposed to bring Pig back. We discussed that with him. He's aware of that. So it's not about Alpha Sports. We're trying to do the best thing we can for Nigerian basketball. It's not personalized in any way. I've never taken 1 penny from Nigerian Basketball Federation, and actually it's not even an opportunity for us, to be very clear. And I want to make this very public for everybody to see.
Okay, we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll be starting off from Olumide because Olumide's name has been mentioned on a couple of occasions and he certainly wants to respond. He certainly wants to respond to some of these allegations. I will be talking about the business of basketball here in Nigeria. Maybe it's the root of the problem. When we come back, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Global Sports Report here on the Rise News. And we're still speaking about the state of basketball in Nigeria. And we'll be coming to you, Olumide. Olumide, before, of course, I'll give you the opportunity to respond to some of the things that have been said. But more important to this particular conversation is the fact that as it stands right now, there are conflicting reports from the board of the Nigeria Basketball Federation who you're a member to. And one of them has to be the fact that we're not sure if elections will hold in January or in October. And some are saying that it is likely going to hold in October. And some are against it, that it should be held in January. Olumide, as a board member today, what's the position of the MBBF in regards to the succession of the presidency? And you're free to respond to other issues.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, let me pick up from the last one that you just said. As at today, I can be quoted, and I need anything that says that our tenure as a board that I belong to, that written, agreed, or mentioned, or said that our tenure will be handed in October. I stand to be corrected, and I need it to be proved wrong. Whether there's a document, whether there's a meeting, whether there's anything. I was voted in on the 30th of January 2022. Okay, so that means my tenure should be handed by January 29, 2026. Well, yes, there was a little bit hiccup up and down here and there with the 2 elections here and there, but that does not stop anything. That did not stop us. We had a series of meetings. We had a meeting. We had a board meeting. We had a few things done. Yeah, despite the fact that there was one thing or the other with the former Minister of Sport, there was a regardless. So if we say that because they not allow us to fuck, I've been hearing different things. Well, I'm not going to touch that. But to the best of my knowledge, I'm just hearing from outside. I'm hearing from people. I've never been told. Neither we ever been discussed on the board. So I don't know about even other persons. Yes, in October we got inaugurated again. But to me, that was to other people, everybody, that is a ceremonial because I wasn't there. So we got inaugurated immediately according to our constitution. But you know one thing I love about Nigeria and I'm so bad about Nigeria? We are so selfish and so self-centered. When things favor us, we're going to say constitution. When we see things is other way, we're going to say government interference. Or we're going to say we're kind of just going to get it up. So as of today, the elections for me are still on 29 because I got elected and I got sworn in the same day after the election. So nobody ever stopped me from performing my duty as a Southwest. But in fact, around April or March, the same year, 2026, we launched Southwest Basketball. Immediately we launched Southwest Basketball. All the zone and also came in to launch their zone of basketball. So there's a lot of evidences that shows that we'll be functioning, we'll be doing that, but I don't know how things is. I'm not going to talk about that furthermore. All about what Ugo said, and for sake of peace and stuff, I'm going to just skip a few things, but there are misinformation in a few things over there that was said, misinformation that was said, but for me, what I want is the progress of basketball. All I want is the game to move forward. All what I want is to build houses, not to destroy houses. For the house, you say you want to come and live. You don't need to burn down the house before you kind of just before you just coming in. So, like he said, all of us does not really have to be president or have to be members. Igoche never be member. He put in his own word, like himself was there, like myself, also out there. So that is our thing about that. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that you say information is power and information is not. So if you don't have any information, and how can you move forward? But I know I'm going to stop there because by the time I say you don't wash your dirty linen outside. But we say things is going well, things are not going well. I pray it goes well. I want it to be well, and I pray it's going to be well someday.
All right,
somehow.
Olumide. I'll get back to you in a moment, but let's cross over to Abuja. Let's talk to Igoche Mark. Igoche, Olumide has spoken about unity a lot. And I've asked Ugo what the problem of basketball in Nigeria is. And I'll be throwing that same question to you. I want to hear from you. Give us your opinion, because we've been talking both here in the studio and off camera. And my own question is this: how easy is it to function as a basketball entrepreneur, as a basketball administrator, and as a basketball promoter here in Nigeria? You've been across the divide and you've seen things play out firsthand. Give us your opinion about the problems of basketball and how difficult it is as a private individual to try to rescue basketball from the clutches of oblivion.
Thank you. In regards to that question, I want to agree with Olumide and Ugo, because they've actually pointed out the problems in Nigerian basketball clearly. Those are the problems that we are facing. But then, more importantly, one of our biggest problems is the problem of us not united together. Problem of us, there's a lot of infighting. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Nigerian basketball, the stakeholders, we need to come together. We need to be united. Everybody, you see, we all have something in common, I can tell you, and that's our passion for this ball. We all have passion for this game. Ugo has got a lot of passion for it. Olumide, Kida, Beat, Janiomar, all of us, all the basketball stakeholders, we all have passion for this game. And for the sake of that passion, I want to call on all of us that we need to come together. Let's put aside all these differences, all this infighting. It cannot help us. We have a whole lot more to contribute.
And ask a question, because you've spoken about unity. Olumide has spoken about unity. And while I was doing my findings ahead of this particular later get-together, I found out that the basketball community is a very small community, that everybody knows everybody. Because for one particular, you find out that one particular Ugo story is one way or the other connected and intertwined with Olumide's story, maybe through Colonel Sam Amedu or through Musa Kida or through Tijani Umar or yourself probably having the Benue connection with Colonel Sam Amedu, the fact that you people hail from the same area. Basketball is very closely knitted. Nobody in the ecosystem now is a greenhorn. You all know each other growing up. So my own question is, when you talk about unity, when you all have eaten from the same bowl, so to speak, where is the real issue coming from?
I think the real issue is coming from when people start coming in with different agendas and with putting their personal interests ahead of the game, ahead of the ball. That's where the issues start coming from. Because if we all come to the table and we agree that, okay, let's develop this game that we all love so much. Let it be about basketball, not about our personal interests. Let everything be about basketball. When we put this ball first, when we put basketball first, I strongly believe that if we do that, next time we're meeting or we're talking, the conversation will not be the same. Because then we'll be finding solutions to all our problems, and we'll be coming together to talk about development of the game, not about issues.
All right, so let me come back to you, Go, before I would try to take some of this general question around. What's your verdict on the president of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, Musa Kida, and his time as president?
Before I answer that question, first of all, I agree with these the two gentlemen, Mark Igoche and.
But
let me finish.
Let me interject you, because this is almost turning into a kumbaya, and it doesn't look like that.
No, it's. I think it's very important. I say this, right. I respect these guys a lot. Olumide is like my kid brother. And we've known each other for many years. I've known Igoche too very well. I think, they both have a point. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
We got after our women won in Abidjan, an airline company offered to fly us back to Abuja and wants to sponsor the team. The next day, people are already sending petitions to this airline to not sponsor the team, the same stakeholders.
Why?
Because they said they make up stuff about MBBF, infighting, you're going to sponsor a bad regime, they're not, all kinds of stuff. I experienced that personally because I'm the chairman of the sponsorship committee. So I think it's important, whether who else is the next president and who's going to be the president, that we find a way to support. Like, we can't have the collateral damage of people. The people that get hurt are the young people coming up.
Do you want to be president of the MBBF?
Let me tell you right now, I'm 100% focused on helping Nigerian basketball. I've done it before I got on the board. That is my life goal. I moved back to Nigeria because of that. I've sacrificed immensely, not just my whole life, because I want the best. And I always say this, I want the day a Nigerian basketball player will own a house in VI, go play a game in Ikoyi and come back home to his family and take care of his family. That is my dream.
I believe in the sincerity of your purpose.
No, but that is my dream, and I think it's possible because I've tested it before.
I believe in the sincerity of your purpose.
See, basketball,
you haven't answered the question.
See, basketball made me who I am,
okay,
and gave me the opportunity I am today. On the Under-18 championship last year, I took on my own 57 players to South Africa because Under-18 gave me an opportunity for where I am today. So I am definitely doing everything I can to help Nigerian basketball. I'll go back to the election that you asked me about. All I know is this. There was, after the elections in Benin, there was another election in Abuja.
Yes.
After both elections, the ministry at the time did not sanction both elections. They put a management committee all the way till October. I was a member of the board. I don't know what board meeting people are talking about. We did not decide who went on the national team. We did not decide who was the coach. The board was not even in existence till October 6th. So I don't know, and that was when the Sunday Diary, who was his Honorable Sunday Diary, who was the minister at the time, swore in the board. So I don't know what other diverse opinion or whatever else anyone has to talk about.
So if I were to rephrase the question before I go to Igoche quickly,
All right.
There are talks that Engineer Musa Kida is grooming you to be the next president of the Nigeria Basketball Federation. True or false?
So let me tell you, if he's grooming me, I'm not aware of being groomed by anybody.
Okay.
I'm certainly not aware. If I want to run for the president of Nigerian Basketball Federation, I'll run it under my own right.
Do you intend to run?
At this point, I have zero intention of doing anything.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Igoche. Igoche, you have not hidden your desire to become president of the Nigeria Basketball Federation. As a matter of fact, you threw your hat in the ring during the Musa Kida era, in the second Musa Kida era. Talk to me about what you will bring to the table if you get the opportunity to become NBBF president.
One of the things I want to focus on is on trying to unify the Nigerian basketball community. As I mentioned earlier, I'm big on unity because our strength is in the numbers. Secondly, we need to put in place a structure. As I said earlier, we need to have a structure. Everything that we are saying, if we don't have structure, it doesn't boil down to anything. We need to have a structure that will tell us, that will guide us, all through the way. Next, we also need to focus on development. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, we're doing well on the international scene, but we don't have same. Our international appearance is not matching what we have at the grassroots, at our domestic basketball here. There is no domestic basketball going on. It is not a par at all. We can't be winning internationally and then not be winning back at home. We need to bring that together. So we need to focus on development. And lastly, sustainability. It is very, very important. And that's where we look at the whole basketball ecosystem, that Ugo mentioned. So I believe that if we put all that together, I think we will take Nigerian basketball to the next level. And in doing this, we need to run an all-inclusive government, a transparent government. We have to be transparency there needs to be transparency in what we do. We need to carry everybody along and then focus on being all-inclusive. And above all, we need to be accountable. When they are accountable, I believe that there's a check and balance in everything that we do.
All right. We are having some technical difficulties trying to get Olumide Oyedeji, but let me go back to the studio. This might be my final question to you, but honestly, like I said to you, I do not doubt your sincerity of purpose because I've interacted with you. I've seen how you walk and I've seen the passion you carry for basketball. But at the same time, how do we begin to harmonize and galvanize, and how do we begin to pull in all these energies together to get basketball to where it should be? Because you've spoken about unity. Igoche has spoken about unity. Olumide has spoken about unity. And I'm saying, if it's that simple, basketball in Nigeria will not be in this deplorable state if it is as simple as let's come together and work together. Basketball, like I said, in Nigeria is very closely knitted. Everybody knows everybody. The people, the dramatic personnel in this particular equation are not strangers to basketball. They've grown through the ranks, including yourself. Now, my own question to you is very simple. Do you think if you had an opportunity to steer the rotor for basketball in Nigeria, what would be the first thing you would do to help lift basketball up?
They say ideas are cheap. Execution is expensive. Execution is what we want to do. If that's the case, the grassroots is where it goes. I'm not talking about even the professional leagues. I'm talking about the local leagues. I'm talking about the young people, the under-18s, the under-15s. And also, I think it's important for us to have a professional basketball league in Nigeria. And I'm not talking about semi-professional basketball league. I'm talking about a professional basketball league in Nigeria. And the players are the primary opportunity. The players are the primary, players are the core of our basketball. And we must do everything we can to enhance
So
them.
we know all this. My own question is, why is it that we are finding it difficult to do it?
Again, I think it's not just on the MBBF. I think the basketball community, apart from talking and being on social media, we have to be more, we have to be more direct. That's what I'm saying.
No, but the
Everybody
MBBF
talks.
sets the tone for things to happen.
And they have. And if you let me give you an example. Like Olumide said earlier, times have changed. Do you think you can do home and away games right now with the security situation in the country? It's not possible. There are a lot of things that have changed since 10 years ago. And things have to be modified, but I agree with everyone, we need to do a better job. We need to work better. We need to understand how to work the system. We need to all come collectively and raise basketball to where it used to be before and where it can be more, because basketball is a very important component of our economics and social life.
Yes, it is. And to wrap things up, we have Olumide back with us. And Olumide, I've heard from the gentlemen, and they've said a lot of things about how to steer basketball right. I want to hear from you. If given the opportunity, what is the most important thing that needs to be put in place to take basketball back to its glory days here in Nigeria?
United the nation. Elevate again. United the nation, elevate again. So that is the most important thing right now, and that there's no sponsor that's going to come in if the house is divided against itself. There's no people that's going to see us as being responsible if we are all using our energy against ourselves. Just imagine every single person, like I said, there's no exception, myself included, that everybody's fighting, everybody have their own opinion. Imagine put all our brains, our years of experiences together. We're talking about over 500-600 years of knowledge of basketball, expertise, and experience. And try to make it one. Tell me how great our basketball is going to be. So we are talking about the Tigers. I'm happy. We have to know a few things. First of all, this Tigers that we're talking about did not start today. They didn't start 2 years, 4 years. I will take you back to the record. This team started in 2011 when they were under 15. That was the team that's supposed to go to Argentina for under 15. Ezine, Kalu, Proby, Sarah, all those kids are supposed to go. They didn't go. They went again, boom, boom, strong fraud. They came 2015, boom, they skipped to 2016. 2016, they've grown. So if you look at the time of when the Angola were dominating, we have the same thing that we're having right now. Sustainability will keep the same thing. And the one thing I'm just going to always talk about the league, because it really hurts me. I really know we can produce more Olumide, a lot of people out there. The girls that we're using, that we're winning with, they are playing in some places. They're playing in the continent. They're playing in countries. And they come back and they do well for us. So imagine our league, their own league is like stagnant as our own league. How are we going to be successful? What are we going to use? How are we going to win? So they say charity begins at home. I'm just challenging every single one of us. If it's we truly love the game, I know there are business aspect of it, but our basketball right now, we need to be honest, it's not yet get into the business aspect of it. We have to take a baby step first.
Thanks to you, Olumide, but before I go, 30 seconds to Igoche. Final salvo. 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. So for me, this is a clarion call to all Nigerian basketball stakeholders. There is actually a need for us to come together now. Let us talk. Let us talk and focus on this ball that we love so much. Let us talk about how we can take Nigerian basketball to the next level. We must come together to talk. We must be united. Let us play this ball from the center. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. All you three are consummate gentlemen, and if there's one thing that rang through and through and was spoken in concert, has been the talk about unity. I hope you all will live by those high words. unite basketball for the betterment of Nigerians. All right, that's the much we can actually take today on this special edition of Global Sports Report here on the Rise News. I am Aaron Akerijala saying thank you for watching, and to Ugo, Igoche, and Olumide, thank you for being a good guest today. Thank you.